let's start off with the Eastern Conference, and we decided to start off with the 4-5 matchup, the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Toronto Raptors. What a season it's been for both teams. For the Cavs, coming in with so many expectations here this season, ended up struggling to start off with, had to make some big moves at the trade deadline, bringing in James Harden, moving on from Darius Garland, also getting Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder, and still integrating their team. They dealt with so many injuries this season, but were able to get the 4th seed in the East at 52-30, while the Raptors, 46-36, 5th seed in the East, first time making the playoffs in 4 years. For this young team, this is what they were hoping to get to, is a chance in the playoffs to make it and get those guys some playoff experience here and see how far they can go. As far as the season series, in the regular season, the Raptors swept the series 3-0 against the Cavs, but all the games were played before Thanksgiving. Lonzo Ball was the starting point guard for 2 of the games, and now he's out of the league. So that, there's really not much you can take away from those games. But certainly an interesting matchup here, Joey. Where do you want to start off with the Cavs and the Raptors?
I'm really excited for this. The Cavs have had a long history with the Raptors over many, many years. I do proud to say I have a LeBronto shirt after they couldn't even get a game on us the entire time LeBron was here the second time. So I love it. I love going against Toronto. Love going to Toronto because we just always win. But I am not as confident as I obviously was back then. This Toronto team is really, really good defensively. And if you give them open shots, they will knock them down. And the problem with the Cavs recently, ever since the trade and All-Star break, we leave a lot of people wide open for threes. And I don't know how it'll be because they're not great offensively, the Raptors, but you leave them open, they're going to make them. Brandon Ingram has been a baller this year. You don't really want him to get going. And for the Cavs offensively, we really need Evan Mobley to be the second best player or third best player now because James Harden is here and he is fantastic. But I have always been that Evan Mobley needs to be going offensively and defensively, and we have a really good chance of winning. However, his matchup is Scotty Barnes, the guy who stole Rookie of the Year from him. And Scotty Barnes has been absolutely fantastic defensively this year, like an iron wall.
Yeah, Ben, it feels like this series could very well come down to that matchup at the 4 spot between Evan Mobley and Scotty Barnes. 2 players that both fan bases believe that their guy is better. And this series could very well determine who actually is the better player across the landscape of the league. Because Scotty Barnes has had an incredible year on both ends of the floor. Evan Mobley, Defensive Player of the Year last year, All-NBA guy last year, got off to a little bit of a slow start when maybe he was overcomplicating things offensively a little bit, but he has played very strong this last month of the season. And the Cavs have been playing very strong as well over the second half of the season. So, Ben, what are you going to be watching for with this series?
Well, I'm going to be watching the play between the big guys, between the bigs and the wings on the Cavs and the Raptors, bigs and wings. Joey talked about the defense for the Cavs. Yes, that absolutely needs to be better. And for me, Dean Wade and Jalen Tyson are X factors for the Cavs, especially on that defensive side, because the same goes with Evan Mobley too. Those are the guys we should be putting on to Brandon Ingram and Scotty Barnes, I think, and trying to shut them down. And they can, step up defensively. Those guys turn up the intensity on the defense in these playoffs we really need them to, which is the right time to do it. Then I think the Cavs could be quite successful in this first round because it's not that many good options outside of Brandon Ingram and Scotty Barnes for Toronto. And the series also could possibly come down to, I noticed, the Raptors are 15th on offense, Cavs 15th defense. It could come down to just maybe how come down to how let me see. It could come down to like who gets even better, what area there. That's what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how, these two teams play in this situation. Of course, the Cavs under a ton of pressure this season, making the big trade midseason to bring in James Harden, not having made it out of the second round with this group. Going to be very interested to see if this team is ready to flip the switch on the defensive end, because they do have the capabilities to be a great defensive team with the front court and with the Keon Ellises and the Dean Wades, Jalen Tysons of the world, Dennis Schroeder as well. Are they ready for this moment? And are they ready to finally go on this run that they are capable of going on? And this is going to be very interesting to see how they come out in this series. Game one, incredibly, of this series is going to be the first game of the entire season where Cleveland has their entire rotation healthy. So this is going to be an interesting situation here, Joey, because the coaching staff, like Kenny Atkinson, it doesn't happen a whole lot where you go into the first game of the playoffs and you have your whole team healthy, but you've never had them fully healthy to experiment with the rotations, with the players that are available. And he's got a lot of different pieces that he can use here. So are there any worries that there could be some growing pains as the Cavs try out some different lineups that they hope work maybe in later rounds as well?
I'm very worried about that because I have over this year, but that was also dealing with injuries. But I've been critical of Kenny Atkinson's rotations and who he brings in at certain times and the way he does things. So I'm very worried that there could be some growing pains. But in all honesty, these are good growing pains because at the end of the day, we have never been healthy in the playoffs, and having just this as the start is just. It's something we as Cavs fans have never experienced, let alone Kenny this whole year.
Yeah. On the Raptors side of things, something to watch for on their side is some of the injuries that they are dealing with, particularly to starting point guard Emmanuel Quickly, who's been going through it the last couple of weeks. He was dealing with plantar fasciitis, and then when he came back, immediately strained his right hamstring. So he's not 100%, and that's something that could be very important for the Raptors here because this is a team that, although they have some good young role players that could be X factors in the series, when you take a look at the Jamal Sheds of the world on the defensive end, or Jacoby Walter, who's been great from three-point range and defensively over the second half of the season, their starting five is very important to what they do, and they are a very connected group there in that starting lineup, and all the players for them provide different things that aren't replaceable anywhere else. So if Emmanuel Quickly is not himself this series as a player that is terrific in transition, a speedy point guard that can hit pull-up threes, then this could be very difficult for Toronto. Same thing goes with starting center Jakob Poeltl, who is their only big burly center, but his performance has been diminished this season because of injuries on his end as well. So if those two guys are not at their 100% capabilities and the Cavs are, then it's going to be tough for the Raptors because the Cavs, on paper, have the advantage in the front court when you look at what Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen have been doing since the James Harden trade.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the bigs with Jakob Poeltl, this is a good match for Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen, and I hope they can take advantage well and get more confidence here for these playoffs. But I wonder what we're predicting outside of me for this series.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look at our predictions for Cavs Raptors. I've got all of them here, even Nick, even though he's not here. So for Cavs Raptors, all of us going with the Cavaliers. I have the Cavs in 6. The other 3 have the Cavs in 5. So a little bit of a shorter series. Joey, why do you end up going with Cleveland in 5 games?
Just because we are healthy. They could get one at home. That's the only kind of thing. I think the Cavs take both of the home games here. Then they go to Toronto in game 3. And honestly, they Toronto will probably win that game. They have a great fan base. They have a great crowd always in the playoffs. Like
and haven't seen a playoff game in 4 years. They're finally back.
Yeah, very notorious for having a very rowdy playoff fan base, and I know they're excited. So purely based off of that, I think they get at least a win. But should be handily for the Cavs. We've been waiting for this. All our guys are experienced now. All of them have been here, done that, suffered, and this Toronto team, they're just young. They're inexperienced. I think this will treat them a lot. Hopefully, they'll take it, unlike Orlando, and build upon it.
Right. Ben, why do you end up going with Cavs in 5?
I'm confident in the Cavs. I'm believing here. Like, I'm a bit worried. Well, the series could go more further to 6 and 7, but I'm guessing it'll be 5 because I believe the Cavs will step it up, play with more intensity on the defensive end, and the Cavs are going to be healthy at least, which is really good. And just hopefully no one gets injured during the series and throughout the playoffs for the Cavs. And I believe that Donovan Mitchell and Harden can have big scoring bursts at times that just gives the Raptors trouble and makes it hard for them to keep up with that.
Yeah, I think that on paper and what should happen is Cavs in 5, but the combination of, I think, Kenny Atkinson recognizing that, all right, there should be a talent gap in this series, and this should be a time where he can afford to try out some different lineups. I think that might cost them an extra game. And also the fact that I just frankly don't think that the Cavs have shown enough in the second half of the season to fully be confident that they can just roll through this series in 5 games. So I'm going Cavs in 6, but they should definitely win this series. And I think that James Harden and Donovan Mitchell, who are two guys that, maybe the two big poster childs of the league as far as they haven't won yet. They have not gotten where they need to get to for them yet. I think they have definitely been waiting for this time of year, and I think they're going to be ready to take care of business here in round 1.
I just know I do, as a Cavs fan, I know it was a completely different team, but I do not want to see Jameson battle in the game because he has killed us every single time he has gotten into the game.
Indeed. But the 3 of us on the pod, and Nick as well, have the Cavs taking home the series over the Raptors. But should be a hard-fought series because the Raptors are, they're a tough defensive team that definitely can cause problems, forcing turnovers, on the Cavs side of things.